Welcome, my dear students. So, once again, I am with you. Fiction, chapter number 4, The Enemy. It was written by P.S. Buck. She was born on June 26, 1892, in Hillsboro, West Virginia. Her parents were Southern Presbyterian missionaries stationed in China. From childhood, Pearl spoke both English and Chinese. In 1910, she enrolled in Randolph-Macon Women's College in Lynchburg, Virginia, from which she graduated in 1914. She had begun to publish stories and essays in 1920s in various magazines such as Nation, Chinese Recorder, Atlantic Monthly. Her first novel was East Wind, West Wind, published in 1930. In 1931, her second novel was published, The Good Earth. It was the best selling book of 1931 and 1932. It had won Pulitzer Prize also. She won the Nobel Prize in Literature, the first American woman to do so. By the time of her death in 1973, she had published over 70 books. From the day of her move to US, she was active in American civil rights and women's rights activities. She published essays in both Crisis, the journal of the NAACP, and Opportunity, the magazine of the Urban League. She was a trustee of Howard University also for 20 years, beginning in the early 1940s. She died in March 1973, just 2 months before her 81st birthday. She is buried at Green Hills Farm. And now it is time for summary. As you all know, this chapter you have to read yourself. It is given in your supplementary book, so line by line explanation is not possible. So you'll have to read it yourself. You can clear your doubts through my WhatsApp number. So let us start the summary. The Enemy is a story set in Japan during the Second World War. In this story, an injured American army man washes up on the beach near the home of a Japanese surgeon, Dr. Sadao Hoki. He is in a dilemma to leave the American to die, to throw him back into the sea, to hand him over to the army, or to save his life. He reluctantly takes him home and decides to save his life. The presence of an enemy disrupts his family life. The servants of the house opposed the idea and left their master. Yet Dr. Sadao shelters him, operates upon him, and saves his life. Out of the fear of being accused of sheltering an enemy, he narrates the story incident to a general in the Japanese military. The general helps Dr. Sadao and offers to get the man killed by hired killers. However, the killing does not take place, and after waiting for 3 nights, Dr. Sadao arranges a boat for the man to help him reach the nearby island. He provides him food, clothing to survive till he finds a Korean fishing boat which could rescue him. Dr. Sadao wonders, why did he save the life of an enemy at the end? So this story is completely based on human emotions. As a doctor, the first priority is to save life, and the same Dr. Sadao Hoke did. But in the meantime, when he recalled his days in America, he found that his days were not good there, and as a revenge, he could not have saved his life. But he saved. That means the emotions of human beings are stronger, and we are born to save lives. So I hope you must have read the story. After reading, you might have gone through various humorous incidents, and at the end, how the general and Dr. Sadao they converse. All these are very interesting. So read it if you have not read, and this is the time to discuss the question answers. The first question is, there are moments in life when we have to make hard choices between our role as private individual as well as a citizen with a sense of national loyalty. So you have to discuss with reference to the story you have just read. So I'm giving you some value points. Duty to motherland or to help a needy person, patriotism or doctor's duty, all these things are very conflicting. Hana, epitome of humanity and kindness, like Sadao, and that's why they both go through this conflict. So based on these points you can answer the question. Question number 2 is, Dr. Sadao was compelled by his duty as a doctor to help the enemy soldier. What made Hana, his wife, sympathetic to him in the face of open defiance from the domestic staff? So there are many things. One of them is her love and respect to her husband, her nature, she was very caring, or maybe she was also convinced that saving life is important. Third question, how would you explain the reluctance of the soldier to leave the shelter of the doctor's home even when he knew he could not stay there without risk to the doctor and himself? So this question is actually asking, though he was in, means that American Tom, though he was in his enemy's home, but from there he didn't want to go out. So what was that reason? So here you will mention that Tom, he might have felt that at Dr. Sadao and his wife's home he would be safer, and they were both treating him also well. So these were some points. What explains the attitude of the general in the matter of the enemy soldier? Was it human consideration, or lack of national loyalty, or dereliction of duty, or simply self absorption? So you can write self absorption, no human consideration, and he neglects his duty. So all these things. Similarly, some more questions are given. You can read them. Thank you.